Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from somewhere in New Zealand, it's the Dave Benson Show with your host, Dave Benson.
All right. Oh, thank you, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Dave Benson Show, which is not in any way, shape, or form sponsored by Maker's Mark. However, it could be one day if the people at Maker's Mark wanted to sponsor us. They could, because it's such a nice drink, if they wanted to. Is that good, Tom? Yeah, that'll get him. All right, thank you for pressing whatever exact combination of Christmas lights, remotes, smart speakers, and elbow taps that accidentally triggered your iPad to switch on, and suddenly my face is just here, staring at you, unexpectedly, but kind of festively. It's nearly Christmas, which means Mariah Carey is defrosted, the shops are louder, your bank account is quieter, and someone in your family has already sent that message that begins with, "So, what are we doing for Christmas this year?" Which once again is not a question. Admiral Akbar, what is it?
It's a trap!
That's right, it's a trap. Which brings us to the most important seasonal question of all, inspired by the absolute global classic Band-Aid. They asked the question in the 1980s and kept asking it throughout the years. Do they know it's Christmas? Well, why would they? I mean, I'm guessing they don't have advent calendars. They don't have a weird emotional limbo between Christmas and New Year, which time melts and everyone's lives have leftovers. They don't have 6 million people around the world aggressively dancing in fake snow whilst wearing novelty jumpers and taking out small loans for wrapping paper. Imagine someone flying into your town and genuinely asking, "Excuse me, do you know what time is Christmas?" You'd be like, "Well, yeah, I do. I've known since Walmart put tinsel up in September." Now, don't get me wrong. I love the spirit of the song. I love what it stands for. But the logic is wild. It's basically saying, we're festive. Are you aware of this? But with all that said, it is nearly Christmas, which means kindness goes up, patience goes down, and everyone pretends they're calm while clearly not being calm at all. All right, let's not fight it. Let's lean into this chaos and kick into this week's monologue.
Gears engaged, pressure steady, system at peak performance. Standing by, initiating monologue.
In Pittsburgh, a Facebook group decided that holiday cookie exchanges just weren't extreme enough, so they attempted to break the world record for the most cookies baked in a single day. Over 83,000 cookies. That's not baking, that's a carbohydrate apocalypse. They brought in bakers from 14 US states and wait for it, New Zealand, because apparently we'll fly across the world for a chance to contribute to a biscuit-based Guinness entry anytime. They displayed the whole sugary mountain at the fairgrounds like it was the 8th wonder of the world, then swapped 73,000 of them. Honestly, it was like the Hunger Games, but instead of teenagers fighting to the death, it was mums elbowing each other for a gingerbread. Gatlinburg's 50th annual Fantasy of Lights parade had everything. Santa music, floats, and a massive black bear that casually wandered down the street like it had RSVP'd. Families were snapping photos thinking it was part of the show. But no, this was just a local bear doing its evening laps. One guy even said he should have been the Grand Marshal, which is kind of brave talk from someone standing one paw swipe away from disaster. Later footage showed the bear rummaging through bins after the parade because, well, nothing says Christmas like trying to find leftover turkey legs. A dad and son duo smashed the world record for the fastest game of Hungry Hungry Hippos, clearing the board in 5.8 seconds. 5.8. I can't do anything that fast, except panic in public. Apparently they practiced for weeks, bonding over plastic hippos, eating marbles like their lives depending on it. They beat the previous record by a whole 3 seconds, which in hippo time is basically light speed. Somewhere in the world, 4 actual hippos are saying, we'd like a rematch. In Richmond, New Zealand, a baby fur seal wandered into a craft beer bar. Customers thought it was an odd-looking dog until they realised dogs don't waddle or smell like the ocean. Staff managed to lure this tiny aquatic troublemaker into a crate using salmon from a pizza special, which, frankly, is the best customer service I've ever heard of. They released the baby fur seal on Rabbit Island, but not before it left a puddle on the floor instead of a tip. A driver in South Carolina kept hearing meowing and thought his dashboard was haunted. Why wouldn't you? Turns out a kitten was wedged under the car like it was auditioning for Mission Impossible Feline Protocol. He pulled into a fire station and firefighters rescued the suck-covered baby, naming it Flash. Flash is now safe at its shelter, presumably telling the other cats, "Oh man, you should have seen the size of that engine." If your car ever starts purring, stop driving. You may have accidentally adopted someone. In Massachusetts, 2 dolphins got stuck in a marsh at low tide because even highly intelligent sea creatures sometimes make questionable navigation choices. Rescue teams waded in, gently captured them and transported them for veterinary techs. Both were released safely back into the ocean, probably vowing never to listen to whoever said, "Shortcut through the marsh." Somewhere a dolphin GPS is saying, "In 600 feet, make a U-turn and never trust Greg again." In-N-Out Burger quietly removed orders 67, no I won't, and 69 because too many rowdy customers kept shouting lyrics from viral Doot Doot 67. Every time the number was called, employees said the dining room turned into a flash mob every 15 minutes. They even removed 69 because, well, you know. This is the first time in history a burger chain has acted as a moral police. A deer smashed through a Christmas store window in Tennessee and wandered around inspecting ornaments like it was doing its last-minute shopping. CCTV showed it sniffing Santa figurines, garlands, and at one point getting stuck in a chair. Police joked that the deer was 3 sips too deep into the holiday spirits, which is the most polite way possible to say that the deer was absolutely off its face. Staff said it looked like the deer genuinely wanted to buy something. Rudolph's cousins are now out there boosting the economy. Volunteers in Geneva built a 79-foot-long, 6-foot-high Lego mural using 300,000 bricks. Now, if that's not a mural, that's a tripping hazard waiting for a lawsuit. It depicts cartoon characters and Swiss landmarks and may set a world record. Parents everywhere collectively screamed as they imagined stepping on just one of those tiles at 2 a.m. in the morning. And after 15 years of drama, delays and arguments, Detroit finally unveiled its 11-foot bronze RoboCop statue. Back in 2011, fans crowdfunded it after tweeting the mayor, which is why politicians never read their mentions. The statue faced legal issues and location debates, but now stands proudly ready for selfies and confused tourists. Somewhere a real police officer is like, great, a robot got a statue before I did. Let's look at the YouTube news. YouTube just expanded its new expressive captions feature to all devices. These captions don't just type out words, they use AI to convey tone, volume, and even background noise for viewers who are hearing impaired. So, if the video is whispering, the captions whisper. If there's a dramatic cymbal crash that happens, the captions practically scream it at you. Soon, your subtitles will be more emotional than the actual content. Move over Spotify Wrapped. YouTube now has its own personalized recap. It summarizes your top creators, most watched genres, watch hours, and then labels you with a viewing personality like the learner, the explorer, the person who accidentally watched 46 hours of lawn care videos. If you spent 73 hours watching cat fails, YouTube will politely tell you you're a connoisseur of animal comedy. Mine will absolutely say, bold Kiwi who watches his own show. It's true. YouTube is testing a new custom feed tool letting you tweak the algorithm like you're tuning an old radio. More cooking, less conspiracy. More sports, fewer videos telling me to invest in cybercurrency with a man called Big Larry. Less medieval knife forging, more normal hobbies. It's like handing a toddler a clipboard and saying, here, try planning your own meals. Now, after opening theme parks, recreating Willy Wonka's factory and hitting 100 billion views, Mr. Beast told fans his recent videos haven't been as good. Sir, if that isn't good enough, the rest of us are broadcasting from caves. He entered ultra grind mode, which is terrifying because his normal grind mode already gives YouTube servers panic attacks. We are one step away from, I bought the moon and gave it to a subscriber. I gave every human a Lamborghini except one. Then I helped him find a job. Mark Robber, YouTube's favourite booby-trapping science dad, has a new compilation series on Netflix, Mark Robber's Crunch Labs. It's 7 episodes of glitter bombs, crazy science builds and engineering magic. Perfect for everyone who enjoys elaborate traps, wholesome science and watching porch pirates get absolutely humbled. YouTube Music added a tool where you can ask AI questions about your listening habits. You can ask it things like, how many hours have I spent listening to 90s punk? Who do I listen to the most when it rains? Why is my top artist still Nickelback? Please help. It's perfect for anyone who wants their questionable taste judged by a robot. YouTube now requires creators to label any political, deceptive, AI or deepfake content. Basically, if you post a CGI politician dancing the cha-cha while declaring war on salad, you need to put a label on it, which is fair enough, really. MrBeast Gaming released 100 YouTubers fight in the Hunger Games. MrBeast Gaming released 100 YouTubers fight in the Hunger Games. Now this hit 7 million views in 2 days. Finally, a tournament where influencers aren't fighting for sponsors, they're fighting for digital survival. YouTube launched the global jump ahead button that uses AI to automatically detect the most interesting moment of a video. YouTube has officially said, your intro sucks, move along. Creators hate it, viewers love it. Editors, well, they're quietly weeping. Linus Tech Tips has officially come back into full production mode after last year's controversies, and they've returned with more safety protocols than a rocket launch. They've introduced stricter product testing, new auditioning processes, documented workflows, teams whose sole job is making sure Linus doesn't accidentally destroy a $20,000 GPU again. It's incredible. They now have the same level of oversight as the people sending rockets to space, and yet Linus is still casually tossing prototype hardware like it's a set of car keys. But the fans, well, they're thrilled. Tech YouTube feels stable again, which is hilarious because LTT's entire brand is chaotic, but in 4K. This is the comeback tour of the nerd century. Let's have a look at the podcast news. Podfest announced the 2026 Hall of Fame inductees, honouring the pioneers who were podcasting back when nobody knew what a podcast was. The only microphone you could afford was taped to a broomstick, and uploading an episode took 9 hours in a sacrifice to the Wi-Fi gods. These legends built podcasting before it became the cultural giant it is today. They walked so every two blokes talking about motivation could run. Respect. New York has launched its own set of podcast awards, but here's the twist. They're not celebrating celebrity hosts. They're celebrating the craft, sound design, engineering, storytelling, editing, narrative structure. It's basically the Oscars for the people who spend 6 hours removing dog barks from audio. Finally, an awards ceremony where the nominees use phrases like multi-band compression, room tone patching. Latvia, can you send your file again? You're underwater. A massive study shows podcast listening numbers continue to explode, but advertisers still haven't fully jumped on board in many countries, which means Australia listens like crazy. Germany listens like crazy. France listens like crazy. The money? Well, that still sucks somewhere between, well, maybe next quarter. And what is a podcast? Millions of listeners unmonetized. Tom suggested launching Kangaroo Blankets Berlin edition. Tom is no longer on our strategy board. Steve Bartlett's Flight Story just dropped a 7-figure investment in Hot Smart Rich, a platform and podcasting network empowering women in career and lifestyle. 7 figures. Podcasting used to be two mates in a garage sharing one microphone and half an idea. Now it's venture capital, branding agencies, cross-platform ecosystems, and apparently investment rounds bigger than small countries' GDPs. Piers Morgan has decided to take his unique brand of interrogation and apply it to history. Imagine Piers grilling major history figures. Cleopatra, you expect us to believe that story? Napoleon, why are you so angry? Joan of Arc, did you consider a PR strategy? Julius Caesar, mate, how did you miss that many knives? It's either going to be brilliant, unhinged, or start 14 new arguments on Twitter. Vulture published the top 10 wildest moments of the year in podcasting, including Taylor Swift crashing a show, a cooking influencer admitting his viral mac and cheese wasn't hers, 2 hosts crying over a toaster, a comedian accidentally confessing something legally questionable, and a paranoid podcaster who recorded a ghost, or bad plumbing. It's basically a highlight reel of things people shouted about in their AirPods. But now we shift gears, because my guest today is that brilliant mind behind the Stephen Knight Show, the talk show that blends culture, fashion, business news, indie music, and some of the biggest names in entertainment. He's dynamic, he's engaging, and he's about to blast your festive socks straight off into the new year. Tom, you know what to do. Roll these festive titles.
I said I wanna see the Dave Benson Show, and I can't stop and never gonna gonna let it go.